This video I'm going to speak about brass knuckles. I just want to use this as an opportunity to express what it's like for reality-based combat and street survival. Obviously, there's firearms, but people that don't want to pay attention to the firearms, there's still other weapons that are extremely effective. These are brass knuckles right here, metal and really hard, really deadly. You could literally kill somebody with one punch. That's how destructive these brass knuckles are. You just hold it against your temple and feel, just tapping it, the steel against your temple, you can just feel how destructive it is. Literally, you hit somebody one time with this, somebody that's trained could kill somebody. That's how serious this is. Another thing that's dangerous about these brass knuckles is how easily concealable they are. It almost looks like jewelry. So all I gotta do, just put it in my pockets. Nobody knows I have them. They're lightweight, they're concealable, they're extremely deadly. Now, in Chicago and probably all states across the nation, these are probably, in Chicago they're definitely illegal. Across all nations, they're probably illegal. But it's ironic because people might ask the question, well, why are firearms legal in many states but then brass knuckles aren't? Well, the fact of the matter is you got, the amendments, you got the Constitution, you got, these rights, the NRA that fights for our right to bear arms. And they've been fighting very hard to give us the right to bear arms for the responsible citizens. Criminals are not allowed to have firearms. Irresponsible people are not allowed to have firearms. People that have records of DUIs and drinking and just all sorts of domestic violence and, people that have psychological issues that, they're not allowed to have firearms, but responsible citizens are supposed to be allowed to have firearms. Firearms are more regulated, of course, more controlled. You can't just go on Amazon and just buy a gun. You can't just go on eBay to buy a gun. You have to actually go to a gun shop. They do the background checks, and then they wait about 7 days or 3 days or however long before they give you the gun. But even so, of course, people are irresponsible with the guns, and there's a lot of killings going on that are not justifiable, and just a lot of senseless violence because of these guns. Basically, it's hard to control, the distribution of firearms. But the government does what they can to try to control it. But basically, I'm just saying that something like this is not controlled by the government. You could buy these online. Anybody can. Doesn't matter how old you are. And these are available there. So almost anybody could have this. This is as easy to get as a pocket knife. And of course a pocket knife is very dangerous as well. More dangerous than this. And the reality of combat is that there could be some people out there that have these types of weapons. And when you train in martial arts and you don't keep this in perspective, you could die. You think that this is going to be a boxing match where, they're going to stop punching, or they're going to, when you get, hit the floor, they're going to stop, or they're going to put on big gloves. No, literally on the streets, one punch could end your life. And that's what we train for in Kung Fu. We train to survive the reality. We pretty much assume that everybody out there has brass knuckles. Everybody out there has a nunchuck. Everybody out there has a knife. Everybody out there has a gun, and you got to be adequately prepared in order to handle that situation. So when I train in safe sparring, it's very important that I don't get hit, because I'm pretty much acting as if they got a brass knuckle, and I cannot afford to get hit. Because as I stated, one punch can end my life. So that's the difference between Kung Fu training and a lot of the other stuff out there. A lot of the other stuff out there are focused on entertainment. They're focused on playing games, to see who could win, who could get more points. That's what boxing is all about, who could get more points. But out there in the streets, you don't know what type of weapons they're going to have. And as I showed you, as I stated, this is such an easy weapon to obtain, so easily concealable, but yet extremely deadly. And you have to keep that in perspective when you're training. And that's how we train in Kung Fu. We train for survival. And this right here, they just put it on, automatically they get Iron Palm Kung Fu or Iron Fist Kung Fu in a split second. Buy it for $20, now you got Iron Fist Kung Fu. Whereas the Iron Fist Kung Fu, the natural way, you gotta train for many years, many decades to get your fist to be almost as strong as this. A lot of years, a lot of decades of hitting that sandbag over and over and over again to get your fist to be almost as strong as this. But the reality is, due to technology, no more decades of training here, split second, boom, Iron Fist. Now they got a deadly fist coming at you, and they could kill you with one punch. That's the reality of modern day science and what it does, and how it can make somebody that is untrained almost immediately become a deadly person. Somebody that's untrained, hand him a firearm, now he's deadly. Somebody that's untrained, give him a knife, now he's deadly. Somebody that's untrained, give him some brass knuckles, now he's deadly. Somebody that's untrained, give him a baseball bat, now he's deadly. So we need to keep this in perspective when we train. It's not about who could last longer in the ring. Because out there in the streets, you're not going to be able to survive many blows to the face with this. And that's the truth. I don't care how superhuman you think you are. When you get smashed in the face with this by somebody that's trained, you're going to die. Or you'll be close to it. And that's something that we all have to think about when we train. Keep that in perspective. Because firearms, they're not that easy to get. You gotta go through some checks. But this, anybody can get it. Anybody. So, when you keep that in perspective when you train, it's going to change the way you train. Now, rather than trying to last 12 rounds or wrestling round for that arm bar or choke, you're going to see it differently. That one punch. If they get that one punch, it's done. And that's real.